Welcome to another edition of Be the Change Georgia, where we amplify the voices of the inspiring business leaders surrounding the B Corp and social impact movements across the Southeast to help you learn how to build your legacy at the intersection of people, planet, purpose, and profit. Today, there are more than 8,000 B Corps in over 80 countries and 180 different industries, unified by one common goal: transforming the global economy to benefit all people, communities, and the planet. If you want to learn how to plug into our purpose-driven business community alongside the inspiring leaders we feature on this show, check us out at belocalgeorgia.com or on Instagram or Facebook at belocalgeorgia, and we'll hope to meet you at our next event. How can a large organization successfully implement and sustain zero waste initiatives while responsibly engaging their people, community, and environment? In today's episode, I sit down with Dawn Brown to discuss the journey of sustainability and environmental stewardship at the Mercedes Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Dawn is the Senior Manager of Stadium Tours and Education Programs, as well as Sustainability at Mercedes Benz Stadium. The Benz, as it's known here in Georgia, is the first professional sports stadium worldwide to achieve both LEED Platinum certification and True Platinum certification. In this episode, we'll discuss the role of education and empowerment in fostering a sustainable culture, how sustainability has become part of the organization's DNA, and how they look to make a global impact through the playbook they've developed by sharing it with other organizations who want to achieve zero waste. Tune in to hear how the Benz is leading the way in sustainability, one small but impactful step at a time. Dawn Brown, so excited to finally have you with us on Be the Change Georgia. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. I really am excited to support your mission, and we get an opportunity to work with local organizations all throughout the city and beyond, and just love to have some collective conversation and hopefully some collective impact from that.
Yeah, and I'm excited to, I'll obviously showcase your work, but also showcase just the combined work of the team and the ownership team and everybody at the Benz of like the crazy ambitious, and I hope we tell the story of wait, there's a platinum lead, let's get platinum, some of the really cool things that have come out of the intentionality with which the stadium was designed. So I'm excited to dig right in.
Yeah, so we really kind of live and breathe in that sustainability is a part of everything we do. We have the privilege of reporting to an owner like Arthur Blank, our owner and chairman, who has really put forth the effort and the energy and the focus around conservation, environmental stewardship, in all parts of his business and everything that he does. And so when building and designing and, ideating around a brand new stadium, sustainability was top of mind. He definitely wanted to go for a certification and knew about LEED and was very well versed himself. So I think that that's important when you think about leadership. It's easy to make decisions, but you really want to know the context of the decisions that you're making. And he did. He knew what was going on. And when the contractors and designers came to the table with a LEED Gold proposal, he said, well, there's a platinum level. We're going for platinum. So there is no finish line. And here's the next goal. Go come back with a new added design for that. So it was a fun part of the journey. But the real testament is that throughout the build and design process, every hard decision that had to be made that would have impacted sustainability or the lack thereof was always at the end of the day, we made the decision because it was the right thing to do, and by the environment, by our fans, by our community. And a lot of those decisions were harder and costly in that build out process. But at the end of the day, we ended up with a LEED Platinum certified building, the greenest stadium in the world. So we feel really good about it. And it's only since we've opened up our doors, it's only gotten better from there. We've incorporated all sorts of community tie-in and programming and tours and activations and stewardship and collaboration with local organizations and other folks doing collective impact within our city.
And I'm curious, like one of the things too we talked about on the tour, from a leadership standpoint, because it's clear that like the Blank family has definitely like led this charge and gotten everybody on board. But for you, what has it taken? Like, I don't want to say the biggest challenge, but what has it taken to get the team on board too, for everybody that reports to you? And then you have, I believe it's Levy Restaurants is inside the stadium. So like, what is it taking to get people to kind of shift the mindset of like, where we just kind of get lazy at sporting events. We just throw everything just goes in the trash, and like from the catering perspective as well, like how are we, where's the food waste going? Where's the plastic waste going? Where's the stuff we do have to do landfill? Where's the TerraCycle? Like, talk about the leadership that it took to kind of get people on board with like, I was making their job harder, making it more complex.
Well, once we got through opening up the stadium, right? The goal was to get the stadium built, get LEED Platinum certification, which that's construction and design, right? So that's just getting the building open, built, completing the punch list, which was its own beast, that I managed, also crazy throughout the build. But the getting that portion done was all well and good. Systems are set up. We're already conserving water. We're already, creating renewable energy through 4,000 solar panels. That's built into the building. It's the people power that we need behind the systems that will make them successful. And so that comes with education. We took the approach of, we have hundreds of associates here on a daily basis, thousands of associates here on game day, vendors, partners, all of that. So let's just pretend nobody knows anything about sustainability, and we'll start from ground zero. Basic principles, basic concepts. What is compost? What is recyclable? Where does the aluminum go? All of these just little baseline understandings. We hosted webinars, learning sessions, tours, as we started to ramp up our journey to zero waste. So we wanted to make sure that we created a coalition, a green team to start. Then we, looked at each of the materials that were coming into the building, identified each of those materials, tried to figure out what can we sub out from that, and then having those difficult conversations with our food and beverage provider and saying, hey, this is going to be, an increase in cost, but at the end of the day, we're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And that comes directly from Arthur and directly from our leadership team. We're committed to those goals of being zero waste and being sustainable and making all of those decisions to do so. And with that comes some difficult conversations from the get. But once you get everyone understanding that compostable is the right thing, you're seeing those compostable cups leave our site, come back in soil form. We're putting that soil back into the garden. We're creating these circular systems. Once you kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together for them and they see their impact and what role they're playing in that circular system, it helps them feel empowered to do the right thing. And so we've done that with our associates when we have our welcome home training is what we call it. It's day one, HR training. You're learning about your benefits. You're learning about how to log your PTO. But at the end of that session, we take them on a sustainability tour and they go to the resource recovery room, which is our on-site recycling space. They go to the garden. They go to the diversion wall where they learn that, hey, if I do go outside and bring lunch in, here's how I divert those materials that might not be compostable. That might be that single plastic fork that you asked them not to give you, but they did anyway, but there's a place for that stuff to go, because the whole idea is that if you educate people and you set them up for success, you give them the tools to do the right thing, most of the time they're not going to go against it just for the, spite of like, I'm going to throw this plastic fork in the compost. Like, let me do it. I'm going against the man. I don't know. But that's where I think we've seen the most success, is that we've set all these stations up, these education opportunities, these webinars, associate engagement during Earth months, I call it, like February to May. We had 7 different projects this year where associates are getting beehive tours and going out to our beehives, or learning about composting and how to compost at home. And they're getting these pieces and tools for their toolbox so they can become sustainable humans. It's not about us achieving these metrics. It's about creating change within our entire organization. And then the benefit of that is that we're zero waste because everyone's playing a role, everyone's being involved, and they're committed to the goal that we all are doing as a group.
Well, and one of the things too you even talked about was like, we get past like team members and associates with, catering company is like getting the fans on board. I've learned so much from just like the process from you, and we'll talk about the playbook in a second, but like even some of the stuff that like getting the fan, like making it as easy as possible for fans to see, like compost, recycling, different colors, bold pictures, like all these different things that went into like the intentionality that went into, even, and I mean, you can talk about it too, but like the welcome home, getting the team members excited, but you also do a lot of stuff where like catching pictures of fans, like putting their stuff in the recycling and putting them on the big screen at the Benz. And there's so many cool things that you've made everybody feel like they're a part of this effort.
Yeah. And even so, we have the Recycle and Win program, which was started actually pre-pandemic when we really started our zero waste journey from the very beginning. And it was a moment where we could have a conversation with a fan, reward them for doing the right thing, have a surprise and delight moment. They're getting an autographed kit, an autographed jersey, an autograph, something of their favorite player. That what we like to call that is a pollinator effect, where we've now their pictures up on the Halo board. They're spreading that on social media. They're sharing with all their friends. All of the other 70,000 people are seeing, oh my gosh, that person just got a autograph. How do I do that? How do I become part of that? Fan compliance is the best compliance that we have, to be honest, because we made it so easy on the back end, right? Like the materials that they're getting are mostly compostable. The two-bin system is very intentional. The signage package, the comprehensive signage package makes it easy to see how to do the right thing. And then in every space. So one of the big missions that we had ramping up our zero waste journey was understanding where's the waste going, what is the timeline it takes for these different waste areas to get cleared and brought down to the resource recovery room. What we learned is that our suite levels are the first to come down, and the suite levels didn't have the bins that we would like in those spaces. They weren't big enough. They weren't presented with the green and blue coloring. So we pitched and went to leadership to say, hey, can we get these exterior banquette furniture pieces locally made down, just south of Atlanta, and that they match the rest of the stadium bins? Because if a fan is going to the Delta Club, or they're going to 100 concourse, 300 concourse, or in a suite, we want everything to be exactly the same so that the behavior patterns can be consistent across the board. And if you get rewarded and you're in a suite one day, and then you're like, well, how do I compost? I want to be able to do the right thing. It should all be comprehensive and consistent throughout the building. And so we actually in 2021 got that approved and put new suite bins in all 180 of our suites throughout the building. And that's a capital investment. That was a huge step, but it improved our sorting time. It improved the process of the waste coming down to the resource recovery room. And so again, hard conversations, proof and concept, piloting. We piloted in 11 suites to start, and then we scaled it. It's really, you have to educate, you have to understand what's going into those spaces and really see how to move the needle forward. What are the improvements that we can do? And thankfully that got us from that 70% diversion to 90. It was a huge push for us to get to that zero waste goal that we achieved at the end of 2021 going into 2022.
Wow. I just like, and again, I've heard some of the story, but the more you go into detail about some of the iterative process of the trial and error and the trial and error and again, it comes back to that we talked at the beginning of about like that journey, the progress and the process of okay, 70 is not good enough, but 70 is better than 60. And so it's like, okay, now it's like 90. And now I know you ultimately want to get to 100.
Well, 90% or above is the determining percentage for zero waste. And we average right now, since we've hit zero waste, we've been averaging a 92% diversion on a monthly basis. We track our diversion rate monthly. We get data back from all of our vendors and haulers, and then aggregate that and create line item percentages per waste stream so that we can see, what is our food waste, percentage right now. We've had the surprise of Second Helpings, who's our food recovery partner. They come and pick up food that it can be used to make meals post event. They've called us and said, why aren't you sending us so much? And we're like, well, we're actually improving on our ordering side, on the prepared food side. We're being better in our own process so that we don't end up with as much food waste. And that's the goal, right? You want to be better, but at the same time, Second Helpings is like, come, send us the food, right? Help us out. But yeah, so we've done created collaborations. We've really made it a goal for us to continue the journey always, right? The journey is every day. We're on different parts of the journey. We're trying to learn from, systems that we have currently. How do we improve those? What are new innovations that we can ideate around? And some of that stuff is piloting, right? So we've got, we've had different concerts or teams, or Coldplay was here during our zero waste journey, and they sent us a sustainability rider. They sent us a list of like, hey, if we're going to come to your venue, these are the things we expect, and the waste diversion was part of that. And so it's creating these events and this opportunity to continue our journey. And then also, you mentioned the playbook. It's showcasing what we've done and the steps that we've taken in a way that anyone who wants to start this journey doesn't have to start at ground zero, that they can look at what we've done and say, oh, okay, out of all of the, hundreds of things that you've done, we could pick out, 10 or 15 to start with and see where that goes and see where that moves our needle. Maybe that jumps us up to 30% diversion just by putting some signage and some bins, or educating your associates to not bring in single-use items into the office, right? Like we provide water stations for reusable water. We provide, compost utensils and napkin wraps for if they go get lunch, say, I don't want that single-use plastic. I'm going to go back to my office where I'm provided those things in a compostable stream.
I love it. It's those little ripples too, it's, and I see this all the time in the B Corp space, but just, the problem seems so daunting that we don't do anything. It's like, right. And we forget the fact that we're trying to get to like zero waste. In reality, it's like, just get to like 10% less. Just start somewhere and build off that ripple.
Yes, exactly. And that is the biggest point that we drive home with all of our associates. So when they go on that sustainability tour, really the goal is to say, hey, this is what we've done. This is how we've set everything up. You are your own individual human. You can make your own decisions. You can go out to that barbecue place and get that styrofoam shell that has your ribs in it and enjoy it 100%. But we have a bin that has styrofoam that you can throw that away and make sure that it ends up not in the compost bin. So it's the decision is really on them. And it's the best part is that we have created home composters. We have created associates that take their stuff to Charm on a regular basis that had no idea that Charm existed before working here. So we've now created sustainable humans within the 250 associates that work here every day, hoping that those little moments of education and spark make them take these behaviors outside of our stadium and to their homes, to their communities, places of worship, other spaces that then will start their own small journeys or decisions that can be better for our environment as a whole.
As somebody who goes on trash walks all the time, I appreciate you spreading the gospel of where to take it and where to put it. But no, you're right. Those are the fun wins. I recently did a program with a company, and it's their pilot, and we did week one, and then like a month later we were back on site for week two, and I said, what takeaways do you have? And some of them, it was literally one of them started composting at home, One of them put up a note in the office to make sure last one out turns all the lights off. Like, I mean, just these little things. And you're like, this is so, like, it was so magical to me though, because you're showing them how they can do it. Because I think they're thinking they're waiting for, the CEO of this company to come down and tell them what to do. And it's like, we can start doing little things ourselves that we don't even need to get blessings from. And I kind of want to ask you about that. And I'm going to frame this two ways for the executive out there that wants to do this. How can they empower? And they've got a Dawn on their team. How do they empower a Dawn to get the work done? And for the Dawn on the team, what advice do you have to get some of that executive buy-in?
So I would say two things with that. We believe at Blank Family Businesses that it's top down, bottom up, but the pathway goes both ways, right? So leading by example, our leadership does support everything we do. Sustainability is mentioned very regularly throughout our town halls, throughout our rallies, throughout associate comms. We do newsletters. There's always something that has sustainability in it. And we have VP leadership within our green team. So the leadership within our green team they're going to biweekly meetings. They're supporting us on a regular basis. They're giving us advice. They're, asking the harder questions. So it's presence and consistency from leadership, right? And even just bringing that reusable coffee cup on a regular basis also helps. Yes, just to show that, hey, this is the one decision I can make. It's an easy one. Hey, I'm going to lead by example by, when we were in the rally, I'm holding my reusable cup. I'm being part of the change, right? And then the second part of that is seeking out associates who have just an underlining passion for sustainability and environmental stewardship. Our green team is open to all associates. It's not like you're nominated, you're on the team, you join this, sign up using a form, none of that. We announce it regularly. We have a Teams channel. Anyone who I'm just having a casual conversation with, I'm like, hey, yeah, you want to join the green team? We do biweekly meetings, come and be a part of what we're doing. And we have a pretty consistent presence of like 13 to 15 people that are in these meetings, that are in finance, that are in IT, data, creative, all other parts of the business that have nothing to do with sustainable operations, that have nothing to do with, the education system or the education program that I run, towards an education. So, but they want to be part of the change, right? They want to feel a purpose being at a corporation that really cares for this type of area and pillar. And we've seen that a lot more all around the world. We're part of Green Sports Alliance, and we go to their summit every year. And we see more and more teams and leagues and venues being a part of this journey. And it's very exciting. It's so exciting to go each year, and just more and more and more people, FIFA's involved. They've got, every team in all the states are starting a journey, right? It's about starting the conversation even, but empowering your associates who have a passion, have a fire for this. It's going to be inspiring to the others who might not understand the reasoning behind or need a little bit more education. If you have someone on your team that, once a week in the team meeting is like, all right, guys, here's our sustainable point of the week. Like, here's one little thing, that we can all do. It does catch on. People do hear and feel that. And I think that it has to go both ways, top down, bottom up, you have to have the full support for it to be successful. And it, like I said at the very beginning, it's the people power behind all of these systems that really make it all work.
That's fantastic. I know, I just feel so like honored to have this in our state. And like, I think, a lot of what we try to do at Be Local Georgia is just, I don't want to say shift the narrative, but raise awareness of all the cool things happening, and not just in Atlanta, but throughout Georgia. And it's just so cool. Like, I left the stadium so empowered that day to be like, yeah, this happened. And there was no mandate. There was no legislation. There was nothing. This was just a purpose-driven owner deciding to do something differently, and then empowering his team to do it and giving them all the resources they need. And still making, like you said, I'm still going to make the business case. This is a CapEx purchase to equip these suites, but let's do it. Let's find the business way to do this and make it work and be sustainable. And like, it's a win for everybody. Yeah.
I mean, I've said it in other, forums or whatever, but sustainability is smart business. We need as a people, as a society, to understand that Sometimes environmental impact isn't always quantifiable, but everyone understands the deep destruction that we are doing. It is not, above us or below us or beside us. It is right in front of us. And I think that if you're ignoring it, that's a personal decision. But
I shouldn't be
it is
laughing, but
no, but honestly, like if you're just dismissing sustainability as a whole, right? You don't want to participate. That's fine, but we as a people need to come up with more supportive, collaborative, systems that people want to be involved in and that are easy. And that's why, like from our green team standpoint, we've tried to make everything easy as it relates to behavior change. When we have 250 associates on our sales floor, we've created these little mini diversion walls all throughout our offices for snack wrappers, for styrofoam, for plastic wrap. I know that salesperson who needs to be on the phone for 6.5 hours is not going to walk all the way down the stairs to the diversion wall downstairs. I need to make that as easy as possible so that they can make the right decision and do the right thing, but also educating them, hey, and having a conversation about that so that maybe they don't bring that item in, or then they don't even have to worry about it, right? So it's just those little moments of hopefully spark inspiration, education that will change. And like I said earlier, it has really changed our associates outside of this building to rethink some of the decisions that they're making in their own spaces.
that's awesome. Yeah, always make it. It's like volunteerism. Just make it as easy as possible for people to volunteer or to give or whatever. Like, bring the solution to them, and people are will do it.
Yeah.
So no, that's brilliant. Well, thank you. I feel like I could go on for hours. Like we didn't even talk about some of the like the water retention and some of the crazy other stuff. But what I will say is, I'd say most of the people listening to this are probably in Georgia. Like, get on a tour, go.
Yeah, come see us.
I'm hoping we can make it work. We'll have it. We'll have long made the decision by the time this comes out, but hopefully we have an excursion at Build Southeast in September. So you should have the opportunity to select that and see it. I think you walk away a little bit inspired that you have a role to play in what the solution looks like. And I think there's an element of, and just hearing you talked on, there's an element of like whatever. I mean, the podcast is literally called "Be the Change," but but there's an element of feeling empowered to like go do something that I think too many of us sit around waiting for somebody else to do it for us. And you're a walking example of that. And the Blank family is, but the whole, just everything that you've talked about all the way down to individual team members and up and executives, like just get involved, be a part of it, and magic happens.
Yeah, we set out in building the stadium to be a catalyst for change, and that is through all parts of what we do, from fan experience to sustainability to community, to just winning on the pitch in the field, right? Trying to be the best in class. That's what we're here to do, and at the same time, grow food in our garden, have some beehives, coexist with the environment around us. We are in an urban space, and the best we can do is just be mindful and responsible for not only our own impact, but the impact of our surrounding community.
Yeah. And I'll throw in, they didn't sacrifice any amenities for any of this. It's pretty, if you've never been, if you haven't been to the Benz, I don't go for Georgia football games anymore, but go to an Atlanta United game and or a Falcons game or a concert. Like, yeah, there was no quality was sacrificed for the making of the sustainable stadium.
Not at all. Our fan experience is still hitting number one. I think we got NFL Fan of the Year last year. I mean, it's nothing has been impacted. Only the impact of our waste diversion, our water reclamation, our renewable energy, the education. Like you said, I mean, people come on tours. We hosted almost 50,000 people last year on tours just by themselves. And half of that was our local students. So we do STEAM educational tours, and students come on field trips. They're learning about this piece, the science and sustainability, along with everything else, technology, engineering, art, all of the other STEAM elements. But I will say the most popular track and pathway is our sustainability and environmental science lessons and that space. It's what sets us above the rest, and what the next generation really wants to see happening, and wants to be a part of.
And making it cool, because let's be
Yeah.
real, we were all like 8-year-olds at one point, and the sports star was the cool person, and the fact that the stadium that you admire and the teams that play in it that you love, like that they're doing this and they're
Yeah.
educating goes a long way. So, like you said, design for impact.
Yeah, one mention earlier you were when we talked about the recycle and win piece is that up on the Halo board also as part of our in-game presentation, there are players that tell the fans pre-game on the Halo board how to recycle, how to compost, how to do the right thing. They're engaged. We do a script for them every year. We get them as part of their media day, some videos and get that plugged in. Because again, to your point, you see someone that you love that's a player saying these things, it does create a lasting impact when they see that.
Super cool. Man. All right. Well, hopefully everybody gets to get on tour of this stadium. But just, yeah, Dawn, I can't thank you enough for coming on and for leading these efforts too. I think you get it. And I think you're the type of influence and change that we just need to see more of. It's that ripple effect. And it just keeps rippling from every component of, from the C-suite all the way down to your team members who are in the waste diversion room at the end of the game, sorting everything. Hopefully not out there on the Saturday we were when it was like 7 degrees with like 30-mile-an-hour winds. One of these days I'll actually go outside there and look at it.
Yeah, our team, again, it's sustainability is a part of everything we do. So it has to involve everyone, got to educate everyone, make, it's including everybody as part of the journey. That's how you become successful.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all you do. Thanks for the tours too. And hopefully everybody that is coming to build in September will get a chance to tour the stadium. If not, stick around and maybe go on like Saturday or something. But yeah, if you get a chance, please come down, check it out. We have some pretty sustainable sporting venues in the city of Atlanta. And people like Dawn that are literally being the change. So Dawn, thank you so much. And I'm glad we finally got to record this.
Thanks, Nathan. It was my pleasure, and come see us.
Well, that wraps up another edition of Be the Change Georgia. We're grateful, as always, for the opportunity to serve you with this content and grow this incredible community of purpose-driven B Corp leaders. If you haven't already, we would be grateful for you to rate this show wherever you get your podcasts by simply tapping the number of stars you think it deserves and sharing it with a friend. This helps us get the word out and continue to use our collective influence as a force for good. This podcast wouldn't be possible without the help from our production team at Chat with Leaders Media. Learn how you can launch your own podcast to grow your business at chatwithleaders.com. Thanks again for listening, and now go be a leader worth following.